Hey guys, you know what this episode is? Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania review.
Yay!
You know, I hyped up this episode so much. Couldn't wait to do this review. We just got home from watching it. Don't know if
Yep.
you can tell, but we aren't that satisfied. Yeah.
Yeah. Who saw that coming?
You saw it coming, I did not see
Yes,
it
I did.
coming. I was
Yep.
very hyped for that movie. It was the first Marvel movie I was hyped for in a very long time. Um, and once again, I'm disappointed. You know, I haven't been hyped for Marvel because it's been not the best lately. And I see all the trailers for Ant-Man. I am so hyped for Kang, for getting Ant-Man back. Ant-Man 1 is one of my favorite movies ever. Getting Scott Lang back. I love Scott Lang. And I guess it's still in the jar of Ant-Man and the Wasp, Ant-Man 2.
Yep.
That movie wasn't great. Ant-Man 1, 2015, is one of my favorite superhero genre movies out of everything. And I was really hyped to the third one. Very hyped to the third one. Quantumania. Very hyped. You know, you guys know how hyped it was. Joseph wasn't always hyped, and,
No.
well, I guess shouldn't have been hyped, because if you're not hyped, you won't be as disappointed. No, first 30 minutes in, we were 30 minutes in, and Joseph whispers to me, "This is so bad." I'm like, "Oh, we still got an hour and a half left. We still got an hour and a half left." But then it went
he
so
had
quick.
faith.
I had faith. I did. I'm like, it will get better. I had faith. I thought it was gonna start to get good. Yeah, the start was okay. But and it was typical Marvel visual effects. You know, it was nice.
Wacky.
You know, the quantum realm is like really beautiful, but like you can tell it's all very green screeny. Um, you know, Kang was really hyped up. Obviously, the next few phases of Marvel is going to be focused around him or them, because there's obviously like Kang's in
Well,
every single. Joseph was saying to me that
universe.
he's in Loki. Now that end credit
Yeah.
scene, which we will get to soon. This is a full spoiler review, so get it out if you haven't seen it. Otherwise, if you don't care, stay in here. Um, that end credit scene. Let's jump right to that. Loki's in it. Joseph, explain
Yep.
to me, explain to other people who haven't seen Loki. Kang's in Loki, you said that, right?
So yes. So
Explain.
it's So he's not Kang. He is He Who Remains. So if you know the comics, you know who He Who Remains is. He is the ruler of time, I suppose you could say.
Yeah.
In Loki, his role is to control time and to keep it from spreading and from changing. So anybody who's watched or read a lot of comics understands that time breaks off into different ways. Just if kind of like the Spider-Mans, right? Think of it as the Spider-Mans. Remember in No Way Home, where you saw all of those different like kind of branches that Doctor Strange was holding back?
Yes. Yeah.
That is all the different multiverses. So that is every universe in which
And
a different choice was made, in which a different Spider-Man, a different Iron Man,
right.
whatever.
So, and there's a Kang in each one of those multiverses. There's a Kang in every world.
Yes, maybe not
Right.
in every world, because
Am
say in one world, say
that Kang's dead.
we lost World War II. The Allied forces lost World War II. So that means that
Right.
everybody's enslaved,
endless
and then
possibilities.
this person wasn't born, and then this happens, and yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Endless possibilities.
Because Kang in this one says that he's killed the Avengers before. He says to Skull Lang, "So I've killed you before." And I'm gonna start to watch Loki. I think when the holidays
Definitely,
come
it'll
around.
help you understand a lot. If you haven't watched Loki before this, watch Loki before you watch this movie.
The only Marvel TV show I've seen was She-Hulk. You know.
Yeah.
And so I really want to watch Loki. I've heard very good things about it. And Loki season 2, obviously, I believe it's this year or next year. And so I want to watch that, get more of an in-depth about Kang. and obviously Kang's going to be the main villain for the next few Marvel phases, getting up to the next Endgame battle, which will be Secret Wars.
Yes,
Obviously, the next Avengers movie is Kang Dynasty, Avengers: The Kang Dynasty. So I think this movie was just getting him in a a movie, getting Kang into a movie and introducing him through that.
as a threat.
Yeah, as a threat, and the end credit scene with all of the Kangs coming together, because obviously Ant-Man and the Wasp killed Kang in the realm, in the quantum realm,
Yeah,
and so they all got together, you know, and they're playing next. I don't know what direction it's gonna go. Marvel's in the direction heading to the multiverse. I don't know where it's gonna go. The multiverse is really tricky to understand. It's really gotta
it
be
is
careful with it. Like all these, there's like a million Kangs. Like it's gonna be hard for a
oh
lot of people to understand.
because there's basically an infinite amount of multiverses, which
Yeah,
means there's an infinite amount of Kangs, essentially.
and
Not
there's
all of them will be bad,
no,
and all of them will be different
yeah,
in some way because of different things. A lot will be alike, but they'll be different. As I said, referring back to the Spider-Man, right?
mm,
They're all their own multiverse, which means they all are different, but they only did that just to tie it together. For that was more
yeah,
so a fan service thing, but
yeah, and
it did they did do it all right on
it's
a
gonna
small
be
level.
like the Flash movie that comes out this year. That movie will be like
Mm.
the No Way Home, but for DC,
Mm-hmm.
DCU, EU.
A better way to think about it, Into the Spider Verse, like the animated movie, that
Yeah,
does it really well.
it
That explains it really well
does. It
because
does.
there are multiple different Spider Mans,
But that's obviously set outside the well. That's set in the multi. That's like outside the MCU's universe.
but they can make it.
They can.
They
They'll
could
bring them together
introduce it
one
if they
day.
want to.
They will bring them together one day.
Yeah,
All these. They'll bring the Spider-Man PlayStation one. They'll introduce him into the
yeah,
MCU. They're introducing Deadpool into the MCU. So obviously Deadpool 1 and 2 is set
yeah.
outside the MCU in a different universe, in a multiverse. So that that proves that there's we don't know if there's no Deadpool in the MCU, right? Well, that we know
Not
of,
yet.
that we know of,
Not yet.
and so
Oh well, yes. Our Deadpool, like I think it's 616. No, 616 was where Doctor Strange and Wanda went to. I don't remember the Earth name that they gave where Doctor Strange was from in Multiverse of Madness. I don't remember the name. I don't remember the number that they gave the
this
Earth,
is just
but
too confusing.
we don't have a Deadpool in the same world that these last 25 movies are based on.
Yeah,
But doesn't mean that there isn't one. It's like
yeah, okay,
X Men, and with the
yeah,
X Men have their own
yeah,
Quicksilver, and we have their own Quicksilver.
yeah.
It's kind of like
It's gonna get
I think
full
they're
on.
going to struggle to
They
really
will. They
keep
really need to
everybody
work
entertained.
close together to make it all understand fully. Because obviously, this next few phases, is called the multiverse saga.
Yeah,
The multiverse is cool. I want to get into the multiverse more within Marvel and even DC, and it is cool. It's a cool thing. Um, but it's confusing. It's gonna be confusing, and
it's
the way they do
going
it
to
will
be really
just
hard for young viewers and casual viewers
yeah,
because they're just going to lose interest in it because they're going to have to like actually
yeah.
really
Like
have to follow everything to
it,
understand it.
it,
Otherwise, they're going
it
to miss three
exactly.
movies and be like, "What went wrong?"
Exactly, like when you told me that Kang's in Loki, and you I said to you that I hate it that when they do that. That you have to watch
Yeah,
some other piece of media to understand the piece of media you're watching. I get it's in the same universe, but it's so big. There's so many movies and shows. They can't expect everyone to keep up with them all and
no,
follow them all. And Ant-Man and the Wasp, it's a trilogy now. And so, with normal trilogies, you're expected to know what happens in number one and two,
yeah,
but
that's
not
fine. It's a trilogy.
everything else in that universe. And it annoys me when they do that. I understand, but that's obviously the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But it's just annoying.
It
Not
is.
everyone is going
It's
to be
kind
able
of
to
a
watch
cash grab
everything. Yeah. You tell
to
people, oh, to understand this movie we're putting out, you got to go watch this TV show,
and
and
it's
that
only
doubles their
shown
money.
on Disney
Yeah, and
Plus.
that doubles their money.
Exactly.
Um, I was really disappointed with Ant-Man. I had hope. I had hope. We're about an hour in. I still had hope. I felt like it was too
Yeah.
short. It went very quick. I feel like they could have done a lot more.
Oh, it was so
There
rushed.
was no plot. There was no plot. Obviously they got thrown back into the quantum realm. Had to get out.
Which, by the
It
way,
was such a basic, non-existent plot.
yeah, just I disliked how the mum, I think she's played by Michelle Pfeiffer. I'm not sure. She kind of just hid everything from everyone, and it's just like, you know what? I'm not going to say anything, even though we're already here, and there's no reason for me to keep it a secret. But I'm just going to be like, no, I don't want to tell you.
Yeah,
Um, you're
Henry's wife.
like, yeah, you're like just kind of ruling over this place, and you know how to do everything, and you know everybody, but
That was
we'll just
frustrating.
ignore it.
Yeah, and like us as the
Um,
audience, it makes it very hard to follow. Um,
yeah, it does.
it,
There
it
was,
it was very disappointing. I now see why it was rated. It's like 47% Rotten
yeah,
Tomatoes now.
it's gone down.
Yeah, it's at the same as Eternals. There's no way. It's not the worst MCU movie. Thor: Love and Thunder's worse.
Yeah,
So
I can agree with that.
a lot of like freaking the Marvels. These people that, even though I agree with them, not entirely, but these people that gave Ant-Man nearly the worst Rotten Tomatoes in the MCU gave Miss Marvel a 100% Rotten Tomatoes. Miss Marvel has 100%.
Yeah, it nothing adds up.
It.
And we came into this like obviously doubting Rotten Tomatoes, but it
Yeah,
was
I very did. I very did much so. You weren't as hyped as I was.
no,
And the first Marvel movie I'm very hyped for, I'm let down. That, you know how much that pushes down my hype for Guardians of the Galaxy? A lot. And that's really
see the only
disappointing.
reason I can back Guardians of the Galaxy is purely because James Gunn has not let us down.
Yeah, no,
He's the only person left
I
in the
agree.
MCU has not let us down. Every
And
other
I,
director,
I
everybody
love
other producer,
I love Peyton Reed.
bad.
He's a great director. He did fantastic on Ant-Man 1. But I feel like it's Marvel Studios. Like, obviously directors and writers play a big part, but it's overall Marvel Studios. And I'm disappointed with them, with what they're producing as a whole. They give me
Yeah,
these pieces of media that I'm get disappointed with. They can't expect us to be excited for their future pieces of media that they're producing.
yeah, exactly.
And so it could have been so much more. The trailers had Kang all over them. And we didn't get the best Kang story that I would have liked to got. It's cool. And now I understand why people were saying, the early reviews were saying, it's Quantumania is like Marvel meets Star Wars. I could see that.
Yeah.
I could see the heavy Star Wars themes. Um, and then I said to you, um, Shark Boy Lava Girl.
Oh, yeah. So I did not like the MODOK storyline. That was really weak, but he will definitely make a return. See, the thing with if you dislike or you like a character in the multiverse, like in a movie, in the last few movies, they will come back. No doubt in my mind, they will come back. MODOK, I hope he does. He's a really cool character. They butchered him. He was so bad. I
Bro,
did not like his character in this movie, and he looked awful.
he died once. I know, whatever. I don't. How has he changed? What, did he die and then Kang somehow brought him back? Because he's obviously Darren
He's Darren from
from Ant-Man 1.
yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, he looks like the guy from Shark Boy Lava Girl. He looked like the big,
Mr. Electro.
yeah, Mr. Electro. That's it, with the big head
Yeah.
just the head. It literally was that. This was Marvel meets Star Wars meets Shark Boy Lava Girl meets wannabe Avatar with the visuals
Yeah.
and
So
like the
when at the start of the
cinematography.
movie, they tried so hard
I
to
know,
make this
with the
movie pretty.
shots.
They tried so hard to give this world like
My
make this world feel like fulfilled and
my first thought was, wow, this is a beautiful world. It was, but it was rushed visual effects as Marvel is.
yeah, like they were on this big carpet stingray thing, and then
Huh.
they kind of just like they're flying over this area, and I'm like, they are trying so hard to make this like flying over like Pandora
Yeah,
and stuff on like the Banshees, and I'm like, what are they doing?
yeah, I agree.
Uh,
It was
the yeah,
it had its moments, when Ant-Man became big and it was storming through the city or whatever, the realm.
that was okay.
It had its cool moments, but there was no spectacular fight scene in there. Scene in particular in there that's gonna stay with me. I love Ant-Man. As I said, Ant-Man 1 is one of my favorite superhero genres of all time. Obviously, The Dark Knight's in the number one place. Um,
Fair.
the Spider-Man 1 as well is probably in second place. Like, but it's in my top 5. It's definitely in my top 5, Ant-Man 1. I freaking love it. It's top 3 favorite Marvel movies, not gonna lie, probably. And number 2 was obviously awful. Ant-Man and the Wasp. It was awful, but it was a mid Marvel movie. And then now this one, it's the same boat. We're in the same boat. And it's really disappointing. I went into this with way too high expectations. First time I was
Yeah.
hyped up for a Marvel movie in ages. And I'm back now to the bottom of the ladder, gonna climb back up. And when will I be excited again next? For Avengers King Dynasty? For Secret Wars? I'm just
Yeah.
day by day, movie by movie, show by show. I'm losing hope in Marvel. I'm losing interest in Marvel. I really am. Like I am losing a lot of interest in Marvel. A lot. You know.
See, another problem I had with the movie is like, and this like kind of really bugged me. So obviously, we see Kang in the trailer, and we hear his voice. He
A
narrates
lot.
half of the trailer
A lot. Yeah.
throughout the entire thing. Like, I get it. I get not mentioning his name for for the characters, right? Because uh Michelle Pfeiffer, I think it is Michelle Pfeiffer, right? Good mum.
That.
Jeanette,
Yeah.
the grandmother Jeanette. She knows who he is, right? That's fine. We learn a little backstory, cool little backstory. They knew each other, whatever. Blah blah blah. I get that she was hiding it, which also annoyed me, but she wouldn't tell them their name. But for the sake of us, like the entire movie, they were just hiding his name until probably about the midway point where they're like, "Oh, we're getting a flashback." But we've seen the trailer. He narrated the trailer. We know who he is. You don't have to hide it. But they're like him, the conqueror, the ruler, whatever. They just refused to say his name until we got the flashback, and then it's just like, okay, we knew who it was, but okay, thank you for hiding that for the last
Exactly.
hour,
It's
the
like
last 45
they
minutes.
literally clickbait us. Like they do that Marvel a lot with the trailers. Kang. They say his name in the trailer, but then in the movie they're calling him the conqueror, and they like building him up, and then they just.
It's like, we know who it is. You don't
I
need
know.
to hide it from
I
us.
was
You
so
are
much more
wasting bad
hyped.
dialogue.
I was so
Which,
much more hyped for Kang than what we got,
yeah,
and I hope Jonathan
to be
Majors
honest,
gets justice in Creed 3.
see, I think he was the best part of the movie. Like, his acting.
Definitely,
I do have a
he's a
bone to
very
pick with the acting. With the dialogue, with the writing, with the acting in this movie. It is below par. I think Paul
Paul.
Rudd, he's okay.
I
But
think Paul
there's
Rudd's
no.
a good actor. I think he acts in a different way. He's a good
Yeah.
actor. Maybe I don't think this is his fault. More the directors and
No, no, no,
how
no.
it's
It's not
written.
his fault.
But
We've seen him do good stuff.
yeah, but like he's good at he does good acting. But the way he comes across, Like the way he delivers his lines. I don't think this is his fault. This is more so the writing, the dialogue,
Hmm.
the directing, obviously telling him what to do. I'm a big fan of Peyton Reed, the director of these. But I love Paul Rudd. He's a great actor. I just feel like Ant-Man. Ant-Man's that kind of character that tries to be comedic and serious at the same time. And when he's being serious, he looks like a fool.
See, the best way I can explain it, Paul Rudd to me, at least in this movie, like Civil War, he was great, right? The first Ant-Man movie, great,
Yeah.
right? Whatever else he's been in, Endgame, he wasn't a lot in Endgame, but when he was
Yeah.
good, right? This
Highlight
movie
for me was
and
Civil War.
yeah, this movie and more not as much Ant-Man and the Wasp, but in this movie he felt like Disney-fied Ryan Reynolds.
I must say, I do agree.
Like the way that they wrote him, he was always comedic. He was
Yeah,
always,
yeah,
but
exactly.
it never landed. It was if like Ryan Reynolds grabbed Deadpool and was like,
Yeah, and
no, like
yeah,
PG, no
yeah.
more PG or you're done.
That's going to
That's what
be
Paul Rudd was
very
going for.
interesting to see how they're going to deal with Deadpool within the MCU. Obviously, it's going to be the first R-rated MCU movie, but I wonder
Yeah,
how
how far?
R-rated it's going to be, how far they will go with him. Because Marvel's aimed at
Yeah,
kids.
yeah, and you can see that more than ever in this movie
Oh yeah,
when Cassie was putting out that big she megamined him, by the way. She megamined Kang. She took over like the big projection thingy.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's what I
yeah.
thought. She took over the big projection
She
thing
did.
and was like, "Hello,"
Yeah. Can
and
you hear me? Yeah.
yeah, that whole thing, cringeworthy. Uh, because it was so like, if you think of any line in any kind of motivational speech in any superhero movie, she said it.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think of what do you think of what's the
The
name?
actress who plays Hope,
No, no, not Hope.
Evangeline Lilly.
Um Scott Lang's daughter?
Oh, sorry, yeah, Cassie.
Cassie. What do you think of her now? She's obviously grown up a lot. At the start of the film they have to get her out of jail.
Yeah, she's irritating.
I feel like
Uh,
I mean she was a kid when we saw her in Ant-Man 1. I feel like that's not
Those
how she would
actresses.
become. Yeah, I know her dad was a criminal and well like robbed places and stuff. But
She's
I
an
don't know.
activist,
Yeah, yeah.
which is like cool, but like it really reaches out. I think
Do we know what
it's a good
happened with
idea.
her in the blip?
She was like Shield grew up. Remember at the start
Yeah,
of in Endgame.
yeah.
Uh,
That's it. And then
yeah, but
he says,
she
yeah,
changed actresses from Endgame to this movie. It's not the same actress because I looked it up.
it isn't. I think
Look it
because
up.
she
Look
plays
up.
more of a bigger role in this one, and maybe that actress isn't. Yeah,
Well, I don't know, but I thought she looked
Cassie.
funky. So if you
Yeah,
look up Cassandra Lang, actress or whatever, it'll come up with
played by Ant-Man
it'll
and the
come up with
Wasp, Catherine Newton, and Endgame Emma
yeah.
Thurman.
I looked it up because I'm like, this looks wonky. It something doesn't look right.
They look totally old. How old is the person that played her in Ant-Man now? She's 14, so she couldn't have played her again.
Yeah, she's a bit too young because there's a 5 year gap.
Yeah,
Which I understand that obviously,
yeah.
but uh,
I don't know why they didn't
no,
use the same actress. She's an actual proper actress. Maybe why didn't she? Maybe she wasn't
maybe she just didn't want a
available.
long term thing.
That's weird.
But no, yeah, Cassie in this movie kind of annoying. Hope didn't get enough screen time. The dad, what's his name? Silverman's name?
The doctor, the
Yeah,
scientist,
yeah, I'm blanking.
the main scientist,
Henry, Hank,
Hank. Good old Hank.
Hank.
Love Hank.
Uh, he was the comedic relief. It was okay. I didn't hate it.
Ah, ah.
He just didn't have another bigger role as he
I
was a
wish he
comedic
had a
relief.
much bigger role. Yeah.
He's so good. He
I
was so important in the first movie,
I know.
and he did such a good job.
Yeah, one of my favorite side characters, if you want to call him a side character. He
Yeah,
reminds me a lot of Norman Osborn, but just not going to the,
deranged.
yeah, you know,
Uh,
like smart.
the ants coming in
Oh, I didn't
in the
like
last
that.
45 minute movies.
I didn't like all
Plot
those.
armor. I turned to you and I'm like,
Yeah,
plot armor.
yeah, I didn't really like that.
Like they kind of foreshadowed it, but I don't know.
It's just
Ant Man.
it.
They really dumbed down Ant Man. Like
They
in the first
did.
movie, he's this like crazy cool guy who robs places and
Yeah,
stuff. But in this, they kind of like he needs everybody else to save him.
yeah, I agree. Uh, they definitely they could have done a lot more. Like there was so much I feel like they left out. Like in the real world,
Yep.
outside of the quantum realm, and that's a cool place. And obviously, probably gonna go explore that more because like that the quantum realm opens up a whole lot more possibilities for Marvel to do and create more stories with. Like it's a whole new world.
Yeah.
And I don't know where it's gonna go. Obviously, I want to do the multiverse. Like the multiverse thing, I don't think it will gonna work. There's too much.
No,
It's
I agree. I
too
think
much of
it'll.
it. There's gonna be so many plot holes.
One of the like one of the my biggest kind of icks with it. Uh so obviously you know in the first movie how he goes subatomic to get between the particles of uh the guy Darren's suit,
Yeah. Oh
whatever
yeah.
his real name
And he
is.
goes in it. And he like messes with all the
Yeah.
like mechanics in it. Yeah.
So he goes subatomic, right?
Yeah.
It's a really cool scene. Whatever.
Yeah.
And then in the other movie, well, he goes subatomic in uh at the end of I think Ant-Man and the Wasp, and that's how he gets
Mm.
trapped in it for Endgame to make the Endgame plot. Okay,
Yeah.
so he's in the quantum realm there. I don't think he's as small as what he is in the movie,
No.
but
No.
he's. So here's where my problem comes into effect. Why didn't they just grow? Like, I really want to understand the science of it,
Maybe because there definitely would be science behind it, scientific reason.
but they
Maybe
don't
because of the
explain it in the movie
world. Yeah, they don't. Which,
because
it
they
opens up
have
this more
Pym
plot holes.
particles.
Maybe because of the particles within that realm. Stop. No, that wouldn't make sense because all the other creatures.
Because
But
he came back from the quantum realm.
yeah, that wouldn't make sense.
At least, yeah, I understand he came back from the quantum realm using the van thingy in Endgame,
Yeah.
but he uses the Pym particle in the first movie to come back, and
Exactly.
by that
What?
point, they should have significantly better technology to go back and forth between them,
Yeah. Why
like
didn't they
Pym
just?
particles.
What?
I like if somebody has a real answer, please tell me.
Why
I'm not
didn't they
like
explain
picking at
that?
it. If there is a genuine reason, if somebody can science it, I'll understand it. If somebody can tell me it, thank you, because they did not.
They didn't.
They did not explain it.
No. Yeah, that's massive plot hole. That changes the whole movie if they just
Like, I'm sure that
they
there
could
is
have
a
easily
reason,
just came
but they
back.
didn't explain it.
They didn't,
And
did
at
they?
least either Scott or Hope had their suits, and you can argue that Cassie didn't have the Pym particles or like the correct stuff in
And
her
they
suit
didn't want to
because her
leave
suit isn't
her.
right.
They didn't want to leave.
Right?
Well, he didn't even know she had a suit.
Yeah, but you can argue that
Yeah.
she didn't know how to use the Pym particles, so she didn't want to ruin it. Okay,
Yeah.
Scott's done it. Hope has worked with it her entire life. They should be able to grow, do the teleportation thing that they did at the end, or at least do something to get them back. I don't know. It just
Maybe because the others can't do it. They don't want to.
yeah.
But at least explain that, you know?
But then you can at least get out and then help them from the outside instead of everybody fighting in the inside
Yeah,
risking
that's
it.
true, but I don't see Scott leaving his daughter?
No, but it'd be
I
significantly
don't
easier if he just
know.
goes back home, gets the portal thing that they used at the end.
But does he know how to do that? I mean, if he's with
All the
Hope,
ants,
Hope
the
does.
magical ants created the
Yeah.
incredibly. The PhD ants made the teleportation thingy, made the portal.
Yeah.
So, and they
Yeah.
definitely would have a device.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I want to
I
talk
don't know.
about that end credit scene with Loki.
Yeah, yeah.
Was that set in our MCU? Was that a different Loki?
So no, that would be our Loki. So you remember in Endgame where Loki grabs the Tesseract and teleports away.
Yes.
So
Oh,
that's the last
that's
time we
where
see
he's
Loki in the
going.
movie.
That's where he's gone.
Okay, okay. So at the start of Loki, he
Yeah,
then
I need to watch Loki.
teleports to the Sahara Desert or whatever. Right? I'll
Loki's
do a recap.
after Endgame, eh?
Yes.
Yes. So
So
the
Loki teleports to the Sahara Desert. He's talking to some monks or whatever, and then the TVA comes and they take him and then they trial him and then they're like, "You broke it, so you are a variant, which means we'll prune you and destroy you." Okay, cool. And then Owen Wilson's character, the guy that you saw with him, he is a detective for the TVA, and he's looking for another Loki who's been running rampant around the multiverses. And so he uses Loki to find female Loki. Yes, it's female Loki. Spoilers. You learn in the second episode. Um,
uh,
so find female Loki named, I forgot, but she refuses to be called Loki. And because she was going to be pruned because she was a female Loki and she was a broken timeline, they were going to prune her, destroy her. And so she broke out, and then she's been against TVA her entire life. Right? Cool story.
right.
Her and Loki go through a whole thing. They go to the end of time. They meet He Who Remains, which is Kang the Conqueror, but a
Yeah.
variant of Kang the Conqueror. So one of the millions that we see
Is
in that
from
credit scene,
yeah. One of
he would
those.
be, well, he wouldn't be one of them because he's gone skis now.
Okay.
But one of those, he is a Kang like the rest of them that we see.
Right. Right.
Lady Loki kills him because he tried to steal her entire life away. But he explained that if he didn't do that, there'd be multiverses, and then there would be multiple Kangs. She kills him. Now there are multiple universes with
So
multiple Kangs.
so why is there so many Kangs? Why is Kang like the wills of the MCU?
So, Kang the Conqueror, his origin story,
So it was
at least,
originally one person, one man.
yeah, but so I don't know what origin story they're going to follow for the original Kang,
Yeah.
but he is a great descendant of Reed Richards, which means the existence of Kang, excuse me, the existence of Kang means the existence of at least Reed Richards, which is Mr. Elastic. What is it? Mr. Fantastic.
Oh right.
Yes,
Right.
he is.
Okay.
He is Mr. Fantastic's
I hope they
great
make like a Kang show or
grandson.
movie of his origin stories. Um.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Obviously,
So they talk about it a little bit in Loki, but
yeah.
like He Who Remains just explains a little bit. But he was a good Loki. Oh, sorry, he was a good Kang. But there are bad kings who want to take over, and he figured out time travel, which then discovered
They're not
multiversal
all
travel.
bad.
No, not all of them are bad, but like a bunch of them got together, like a bunch of Kangs got together,
All the
and
bad
then,
ones and like start a movement in each of.
well, yeah, they all kind of turned against each other, and then
Okay.
created a
Okay.
multiversal war.
Right. So they like rule in many different multiverses and want to be conqueror of each of them.
Exactly.
Right.
So
That
they
okay kind
Kangs
of
are
makes
killing
sense.
each other to take over.
Right. So Kang's
Like a Kang
basically
in every,
Kang is like the emperor, and just each Kang
yeah,
wants to be the conqueror of
exactly.
each realm, each multiverse, each whatever, each world, each universe.
And so the Kang who was the He Who Remains was trying to prevent all of that, but then
Okay.
bad Loki, who was upset because he stole her life away, which is understandable. Like he ruined her life, okay,
Yeah, of course.
and it was kind of understandable.
Yeah.
And you really rooted for them. Like she's a really cool character. I hope we see her again in a movie.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah. I'm definitely gonna check out Loki because
it'll explain it better
I
than I will.
never knew Kang was in Loki. Obviously, I've heard
Yeah,
Loki's the best MCU show. The rest are pretty
by
bad.
far.
Moon Knight. Okay. Moon Knight.
Yeah, Moon Knight, I'd say is pretty good.
Winter Soldier. Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
You
Pretty bad.
watch it because he will. It's not great, but you definitely need to watch it because
Yeah.
he turns
He's
into the
gonna.
new Captain
Yeah.
America.
Yeah. One Division.
If you like Wonder, I didn't like the show to be honest.
I
It
like
was a
Wonder,
bit.
to be honest.
Then you don't
Really like
need
it.
to. If she goes bad, you watch Multiverse of Madness. You understand?
Yeah. And then there's She-Hulk that I saw. Is that all the shows? Just those 5?
There's more. Miss
There is.
Marvel.
Miss Marvel. 100% Rotten Tomatoes must be the greatest MCU show.
I don't think it was bad. I just think it was a character that nobody cared about. And
Work.
but so Kang, he who remains, I should say. He then, he explains it that he was protecting the main timeline, the original timeline, which is the timeline we have had up to now.
Right.
Since Iron Man 2008, he was been protecting that timeline. The Avengers, Thanos, the Snap, everything. That's the main timeline. That is the timeline that is supposed to happen.
Do you think they'll ever bring Thanos back through the multiverse?
They will, as a cool little thing.
But not as powerful and big as Thanos. They can't. I
Well,
hate it
now
when.
that
Okay, it's okay to do that, but don't make him the main villain guy again.
no, they won't make him the main villain guy, but they'll give him be like, oh yeah, Thanos was a thing, and then kind of show off
It's.
the new power rankings.
I feel like going to the multiverse is a big risk for them. You know, it's too big.
It is.
It's too much. It's too big.
It is.
That means there's endless everything, endless everybody,
Exactly. That means there's
endless situations, endless different outcomes.
there is like that's all it is. It's think of
Well, because they didn't even know the multiverse existed until really Spider-Man broke it.
because there wasn't a multiverse.
It's still Spider-Man's fault.
No, because female Loki killed the.
I need to watch
He Who Remains was the script writer of the universe. He wrote everything. He said that this did that, and this person did this, and this person. I don't know.
Okay. Spider-Man 4 is going to be hella interesting. Kevin Feige put out a statement saying that they're like halfway through writing it.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're going to do for Spider-Man 4. It's going to be hard to pick up from where they left. I reckon they're going to move on from MJ and Ned.
Gwen Stacy.
What?
They'll give us Gwen Stacy.
Oh, yeah.
But see, here's the thing.
I don't know, man.
Right. It's
maybe
now that they have like Kang the Conqueror. They had this problem with Thanos, right? But it was fine because they didn't have 20 TV shows a year. But
Marvel's getting too big. That there's too much now. They're creating too much, meaning they have to explain more stuff, and it's just an endless cycle of so many plot holes that.
Well, also, so think of it like this, right? We have Wanda, right? Or Doctor Strange, whatever. A really powerful person, okay? So think of the Endgame battle that we had in Endgame, right?
Yeah.
Thanos, right? So we had Captain America coming up against Thanos. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Somewhat unbelievable because he's just a man.
Captain America's overrated.
Different time for that one, but he's like he's coming up against Thanos. Like he's a god among men. He's crazy. He's got all the Infinity Stones. Captain America's going up against him. Cool, right? It's unbelievable, but it's there. It's happening. I can kind of see it. He's got courage. He's got will. He doesn't care. He won't stop until he's either dead or whatever. Cool. King the Conqueror is on a different level. And now we have what's his name? The new Captain America, who doesn't even have the super serum.
Yeah.
Who's not Steve Rogers. And we're going up against a time-traveling man who has an infinite amount of themselves.
Yeah.
And now we have a flying man with a shield. Okay? The power rankings.
Well, there was Kevin Feige teased after... What phase have they planned up to? Secret Wars? What phase is that?
7. 6 or 7.
Well, phase 8 or 9 will end the MCU and they're going to do a universe reset. Like, the MCU as we know it will get blown up through the multiverse and they'll go to a different multiverse and show us that. But Marvel's not going to be the same watching it with a different person playing Iron Man with a different, like, it's... Marvel's on a downhill. It's always going to go down. It's never going... It won't ever go on a spiral back up, I don't reckon. I reckon it's going to be on a very slow downhill and it won't reach rock bottom till decades. But I think if they do that, they do a universe reset in a new multiverse, you know, the multiverse as we know it, like the MCU we're in now gets blown up or whatever, I won't be interested in Marvel.
Fine.
I wouldn't be interested in seeing someone else playing Iron Man, seeing a new...
We can say that, but...
You can't... I feel like nowadays you can't start a new franchise nowadays.
I think it's hard to right after doing it, but what they need to do is ditch the theatrics and give us good story writing like they did. Like, the reason that we can leave DC happily is because it wasn't good. If we go into the next decade with good DC movies, we don't care that we had 5 Batmans in the last...
Exactly.
4 years.
The MCU's been...
20 years.
MCU's been on and off. Overall, it's been enjoyable and MCU's good. The DCU, on the other hand, was terrible. It was shit. And so we're happy we're getting a fully reset thing, which will be the Flash movie. And I see it's going to be cool, I reckon. They're going to do it cool.
But what was the reason that we liked RDJ so much as Iron Man? Because he was a compelling character. It wasn't just because he was Iron Man or he was RDJ, right? If RDJ does a bad job, he does a bad job. It's as simple as that. It was good writing. It was good storytelling. It was a good character. It definitely
comes down to that. You know, Jon Favreau, director of the original Iron Man. Yeah. And in Iron Man, I mean, that can be my only point. Is that
if they can give us that again, then I think it'll be okay. But it's just if they choose to do it. And if they choose to care.
And instead of companies, you know, these like Disney big film companies saying to the fans, "Oh, you're racist, you're sexist because you don't like this character." That is never the case. Maybe 1% of people, like the racists, the homophobes,
there will always be people like that.
But
it's the minority.
Exactly.
It's the smallest, minute amount.
Exactly. But, you know, I'm going to take the Obi-Wan Kenobi show as an example. I understand Moses Ingram got a lot of hate, which she shouldn't have. Her character, on the other hand, was a shit character. It was written terribly. The fans shouldn't have brought it out on her. But for Star Wars to tweet on Twitter saying, "This universe isn't for racists, blah, blah, blah," that's a terrible way to communicate with your fan base. I understand there was a few people saying racist stuff to her, but the majority didn't like her character. Her character, not particularly her, because she was acting bad. No, she was fine. She was a shit-ridden character. Reva was a shit character.
I don't think she was that bad.
She was a shit character. She was a shit
I don't think she was good, but
she was shit. She had nothing.
The reason I think people attack them on like either a racial, sexist, whatever level, like a wrongful level like that, is because they just don't know how to express themselves properly, and so
it ruins it for the rest of us.
People. Yeah, it does. But for instance, like I know you haven't seen The Walking Dead, but Negan, who's played by Jeffrey Dean Morgan, he kills an important character in the 7th season. He proceeded to get like tons of death threats because he killed somebody, like a lot of people's favorite character. It
The
happens.
actor,
It happens a ton.
the actor. Yeah, I know it does. It's
It
stupid.
happens so
People are
much. I
that
forgot what
proves
else.
how dumb people are and don't know anything about making a
Yeah,
movie. Do they think the
but
actors are making the movie? They're acting. They're actors. Actors.
yeah,
Acting what they are given by the writers, the people that are
yeah.
putting pen to paper.
But because he did such a good job at being an asshole, he then got blamed for it. But
Yeah.
because he's a white man, so he couldn't get racial attacks against him. He couldn't get a sexist attacks against him. But if that was a black
Well,
person
no,
or if that was a female, I think it would have been
that's
so much worse because then it would have been those types of attacks.
yeah, yeah.
I forgot the other example. Abby in The Last of Us 2. I won't tell you what it is, but the actress who voiced and motion captured her got a lot of hate because of what happened. Again, you haven't played it, won't tell you what it
Don't
is,
say anything.
but she got a lot of hate because her character is transgender, and I'm not sure if her motion capture, like her actual actress, is transgender,
Okay,
but
okay. At the
she got a lot of
end
hate for it,
of
like
the
the actual
day,
voice actor.
at the end of the
And
day, us real fans only care about the story. There's the one
yeah,
percenters that are the racists, the homophobics, the sexists, whatever. But overall, 99% of us were watching the movie, the show for a good story. Look at Samuel L. Jackson playing Mace Windu. Everyone loved him.
yeah,
Um, Look at Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka. The majority love her as Ahsoka. And you can't just say, oh, well, people were racist to Moses Ingram because she's a person of color. It's the character for 99% of us.
yeah,
There's a ton of colored skinned actors that have amazing characters. Some of the
yeah.
best
There is.
characters. Look at Apollo Creed in Rocky.
Oh yeah, it's just people being like,
Look at Chadwick Boseman.
oh, he's one of those characters
It's
that will never be replaced, like never
exactly.
properly be replaced in the role.
It's the 1%ers that I feel like these people focus too much on.
Yeah,
Obviously, it needs to be addressed. You can't be racist. Should never be racist. You never do that kind of
no,
stuff.
never.
Um,
If you are, you're pathetic.
yeah,
If you're gonna insult somebody, like be creative about it.
yeah.
If you don't like something, just don't be lazy. Like actually express
If you
why.
don't
Don't just
like something, don't say anything at all.
or do, but be polite.
If you like a mean comment, like if you want to say
Oh
something
yeah, yeah,
mean, refrain
yeah. There's no
yourself,
point.
be mature. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah, and yeah, yeah.
it's crazy why how people get
It is.
because
It's stupid.
things happen that they don't like. It's a show. It's a movie. It's entertainment. You're supposed to. If it's an evil character, the reason you hate them so much is because they're doing a good job.
Yeah, that's one thing.
If you hate a villain, that means they're doing their job properly.
Yeah,
Like
that's
um
I definitely agree.
in Red Dead Redemption 2, Micah Bell, he plays the antagonist, and he got a lot of death threats because of the game. Even
Yes.
he disliked his character, like he hated his character in the game because he was such a good villain. But he got death threats because of what his character did in the game.
Yeah, well, look at Mark Hamill in the sequels. He hated his character. No one sent him death threats, but I think that's because
It's Mark Hamill.
yeah, you can't say that though. I think it's because it's 40 years later. They're making a sequel to an original character 40 years later. Well, Mark Hamill didn't like his character, but same with that guy from Red Dead Redemption, and he still get death threats. I
Well,
think it's how
no,
big you
he
are as
liked
well.
his
Mark
character.
Hamill expressed largely that he hated his character.
Yeah, it wasn't that Micah Bell hated his character. Like the guy who played Micah Bell hated his character. Like as a character, he loved his character, but he hated that his character was so good
Yeah, and
at being an asshole.
I think the difference is Luke Skywalker had 40 years of growth within people's hearts.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But the guy who played Micah Bell, like when he finished the game, he was like, "What have I done?" Because he played such a convincingly bad character.
Yeah.
And but actors and actresses and voice actors, they all get punished for doing such a good job.
Yeah, it's
And it's
bullcrap.
so dumb.
You know, going back to like the villain stuff, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I wish, I wish it ended with the bat with Kang's winning. I guess it kind of did. You know, obviously one of the Kangs died, but now it gets all the other Kangs a step closer and more motivation to now kill the people within the MCU universe. But like, I thought Ant Man was gonna die for a second. I had a thought in my head, they're gonna kill Ant Man. I don't want that, but I think it would have been very good for the story, and it would have gave the movie a lot more depth. Um,
Yeah,
'Cause
got a lot more
I feel
purpose.
like you start the movie, you rewind to the end, you won't notice that anything's changed.
You don't
It's
have to
just
watch this movie.
Scott Lang is walking down the street again, talking about himself, narrating himself that, oh, how was he a part of the Avengers? You know, you skip from the start to the finish, you're not going to tell a difference that he just went to the quantum
No.
realm and killed a Kang and all this stuff.
See, this movie had a lot more importance than this movie had the importance that I wish uh, Doctor Strange did. Like,
I like Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
I think the only problem I had with it was that I went into it hoping that I'd get a lot more out of it, as in the universe would actually change, which it didn't.
It didn't at all.
This, at least, like, you don't have to watch the movie to be able to watch any others. You have to watch Loki to kind of understand it. But you don't have to watch this movie to understand the rest. They will do a recap. They could, if you go watch a 5-minute video on YouTube, you'll get a recap of the movie.
Yeah.
And you won't miss out on much. If you care about the characters, then cool, go watch the movie. But
What do you reckon?
at least it sets up the next phase where
I
Doctor
think it
Strange
does that
didn't.
well. I think that's one thing this movie does well. It sets up the future events with Kang.
Whereas Multiverse of Madness is just kind of like One Division
Yeah.
season 2 in a movie.
Yeah.
Literally what it was to me.
Well, originally it was a Wonder movie, but they changed it to Doctor Strange because it's a big name.
So dumb.
That's fact.
So dumb.
Yeah.
Like,
what do you reckon Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is going to make at the box office?
600 mil.
I'm going 800. Just because of
Only
how
because it's a Marvel
well
movie?
established, even though it's a bad movie, well established Ant-Man is. It's not a bad movie, it's a bad plot.
It's a boring plot. Like, the
It's a
plot's
boring
good, but
plot.
it just didn't do anything. There was
Yeah,
like, the
it
writing
didn't
was
do
bad. The
anything.
jokes are awful.
The directing was good. I love Peyton Reed. I don't want to say anything negative about it.
The jokes, I think I laughed twice. In 2 hours, I think I laughed twice. And not hard laughed. A little,
Yeah, there was only that one. There was only a few.
Uh,
Where it's just like a little,
yeah.
not like you're
Yeah.
crying.
But they tried. They
Yeah.
tried really hard to make this movie funny.
Yeah, I think it will make 800 mil just because how well established Ant-Man is. But
Yeah.
we will see. We'll see what its
They
opening
also
weekend.
really dumbed them down.
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
Start to phase 5.
It's not as weak. Like it.
I don't know, man.
I think Phase 5 will be good. I'd say this. Well, would you put this higher than most Phase 4 movies?
Phase 4,
So
the
we'll
only
go
two
over them.
highlights. The only highlight Phase 4 was No Way Home. The rest were good or mid.
We'll go
or
through it. So,
bad.
so you think No Way Home is better than this movie?
Yes.
I agree there. Thor. Is this movie better than Thor?
Love and Thunder.
Yeah, is Thor Love and Thunder better than this?
I haven't watched, as I've said, I haven't watched the full Love and Thunder. I've skipped through the whole thing. This is way better than Thor: Love and Thunder. That's the worst movie of Phase 5.
Yep.
Phase 4.
Yeah, I agree with that. What else is there? Is Eternals Phase 4?
Black Widow.
This movie's it's better than Black Widow.
It's better than Shang-Chi.
Ooh, no, I think Shang-Chi's better.
Haven't seen it.
It's okay. I won't get into it, but it's
Hawkeye
okay.
is another
It's okay.
TV show that we forget. Hawkeye.
That's right, because it's forgetful.
Eternals. I didn't see that. That was the most streamed Marvel movie in 2022, which is shocking because that's
So
the
Phase 4.
lowest one.
So Phase 4, I'd say this movie is better than all the TV shows except for Loki.
Right.
Better than Black Widow. Better than What If.
This is
Not as good as
this is what we got.
Shang-Chi, Eternals, Hawkeye.
This is what we got for Phase 4. We got WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Loki, Black Widow, What If, Shang-Chi, Eternals, Hawkeye, Moon Knight, Doctor Strange Multiverse, Miss Marvel, Thor Love and Thunder, the I Am Groot stuff, She-Hulk, Werewolf by Night, Wakanda Forever, Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, and No Way Home.
I'd say that Loki is better. I'd say that Shang-Chi is better.
Movies.
You can argue Eternals.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
I don't.
you can
Eternals is
argue
not appealing
Eternals.
to me at all.
Uh,
I would say
and then
that proves Phase
that's
4
it.
was terrible. Phase
I'd
4
say it's
was
better than all the shows
terrible.
except for Loki and Moon Knight.
Phase
Everything else,
Phase
terrible.
4 was terrible, man.
It was.
It was
So this is
terrible.
already on track to be better than Phase 4. Our next movie is Guardians, and Guardians isn't better than everything out of Phase 4. Then Marvel need to quit. Because
Yeah,
Guardians needs to be better than anything that Phase 4
I
produced.
think it will be, James
Simple as
Gunn.
that.
Yeah, I think it will be. And then we got the Marvels, which
We don't have any promotion on that.
we were meant to get a trailer
So,
at the Super Bowl, but they scrapped it.
okay.
Too expensive for them.
I'm not. I have no opinions on the Marvels yet. I'll wait for a trailer.
Me, same. Yeah, I don't think it'll be good though, but that's first initial thing. I don't know. We'll see where it goes.
But what would you rate our first important movie of 2023? Like
So-
what ranking?
So when the movie finished and the credits started rolling, I was just staring at the screen. In
Yep.
that moment, I would rate it a 4 out of 10 just because of how angry I am after I've set it down. It's been a few hours. I'd give it a 6 out of 10.
I'm gonna go with your initial. I'm giving it a 4.
Okay. I did
4
as
out of
soon as
10
I
on our
watched it, but
first.
I've cooled down because of how hyped I was for the movie. I was really angry.
No, this movie
It's
just
lower than a
irritated
6.
me.
I'm really interested to see what Josh from the Den of Nerds is going to think about this because it comes out tomorrow for him, or he doesn't get invited to
Okay.
premieres because he talks his mind. So I'm
Yeah.
really interested because he was very hyped. He was hyped like me for it. So I'm very interested to see what he's going to think about it. He's going to be disappointed, and that's a shame because. But guys, that's our Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania review. Let us know what you guys thought. Did you like it? What do you rate out of 10? Was it a good start to Phase 5? And
If you can explain the science of it to me, please.
yeah, please. But guys, we're gonna get out of here. I'm gonna get this up for you guys. Nearly 10 o'clock, an hour episode. That's more than I thought we were gonna record for, but it definitely wasn't what we expected. Well, at least me. I was very hyped up about this, and I was definitely very disappointed. So next movie in Phase 5, next movie this year, Guardians in May the 4th comes out. So well, we'll see you guys for that review. Obviously, we'll see you guys. When's our next episode? Last of Us on Monday. Maybe an episode before
Yeah.
if anything comes up. But yeah, guys. Yeah, we'll see you then. You give it a 4 out of 10, eh, Joseph?
Sir.
Yeah, that's fair. Let us know what you guys thought. But yeah, we'll see you guys in the next episode. Alright, guys, have a good one. Bye bye.
Yeah.